Medrash Necha tells us, "See, v'yasafti v'yasreschem sheva chatoseichem." I hurt you 7 times your sins. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael, Atem avartem lifanai b'zayin averos, harei yirmiyah ba u'mekonein aleichem chinos, shem b'shivas alpha basin. There's 7 times the alphabet in the kinos, in Yirmiyah. Rabbi Yochanan, name Malach Yisrael ba'alef base. Why was Klal Yisrael smitten by the olive base? They should avra al Torah shenitna ba'alef base. So Chazal tell us here that the Eicha is written in the olive base. All the klolos of the Torah came by olive base, which means, says the Meforshim, it means that the entire Bria, Betzalel was mitzaref the Osios, Shenivru Shemayim V'aretz. The Osios, the olive base, to be mitzaref the Osios is the Bria, the entire Bria was brought as a kol against the Klal Yisrael. The olive base, that means everything that there possibly could be. Mitzad Sheni, Amar Rabbi Nechemia, Afal Pi Shekilon Yirmiyahu ba'olive base, Afil Hachi Hiktim Yeshayahu Ravafam B'kulam. Yeshayahu came and was made a refuah for all the klolos of Yirmiyahu. Yirmiyahu Mar Eicha Yashva Badad, Yeshayahu Amar Tebelavavecha Mi'elech Li Esela. B'kitzur, the Medrash here says that Yeshayahu came and everything that Yirmiyahu said, Yeshayahu earlier had said kineged that a refuah. Kadosh Baruch Hu was machtim refuah l'maka. Even though there was going to be a klola with the olive base, the entire bria would be brought against the Jewish people. Still, Yeshayahu already gave us a bracha, which means that the entire bria, the entire creation which is put in front of us, can be used one of 2 ways. It can be used in a way that it comes as a bracha, or God forbid it can come as a klova. The olive base means the entire world, everything that Hashem created. To illustrate this point, the Meforshim explained there's a difference between the word chametz and the word matzah. There's a ches and there's a hay. The ches of chametz becomes the hay of matzah. Rabbi Yitzchak Zachav explains that the ches is closed, the hay is open. Olam hazeh nivra b'hay. This world was created with a hay. The ches is closed. The hay has a little hole in the top. Says the Gemara in Menachos, if you want to do tshuva, you have a way that you go through the little hole in the top, you can do tshuva. The ches represents Olam hazeh, this world without a tikkun, this world without any possibility of correction. All the klolos that can possibly be, everything negative about the world. The world by mitzad atzmo is full of klola. Or you can have olam hazeh, which is the hay. Olam hazeh nivra b'hay, this world was created with a hay, with the letter hay. It has the possibility to reach up to a Kodesh Baruch Hu. There's the ches and there's the hay. There's the olive base, which is a klola, and there's the olive base, which is a bracha. And that's the pshat, bein ha-mitzarim. Kodesh Baruch Hu brings all the klolos, bein ha-mitzarim. We've explained before, bein ha-mitzarim is lashon meitzar. Meitzah means the boundaries. The Kodesh Baruch Hu means the klolos between Yud Zayin B'Tammuz and Tisha B'Av. Bein ha-mitzarim, between the boundaries, between the fences. Mitzrayim is also from lashon meitzar. The Mitzrayim was a place which was very dochos, was very tight. It means the boundaries of this world. This world, mitzad atzmo, the physical world, is filled with boundaries. The ches is closed. The hay is open as a pesach to a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Bein ha-mitzarim means the world catches up with us to the extent that we misuse the world. The extent that we live in this world and misuse it, so then we get the ches, we get the klolos, we get the bein ha-mitzarim, we get the olam hazeh comes against us. The olive base comes against us in all of its fury. This idea of that the world is going to be b'cholo or b'bracha, sometimes we tend to think, this is external to us. What happened, Beis HaMikdash getting destroyed, things happening in the world, klolos. It says in Nitzavim, put in front of you life and good, death and bad. I continue later on. I put in front of you life and death. Habracha v'achlala. Becharta b'chayim. You shall choose life. You can choose life. How can you choose life? Life is something which is given. It's a maftech which is given in the hands of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Torah says there's real life and there's death. There's bracha and there's klala. We can choose bracha. And we can, chas v'shalom, choose klala. Chazal tell us, Kol dor shalom nivda beis hamikdash b'yomav malav akasav kilu hicharva. The generation where the Beis Hamikdash was not built, it's as if they destroyed it. It's just not an expression. We think, nice things. Chazal have nice things to say. It's not an expression. Listen to the Lashon Rambam. Rabbi Gottlieb just quoted it. I'll say a little bit, just remind you of the words. There are days which everybody has to fast to open up our ways to the ways of tshuva. To remembrance of our deeds, our bad deeds, and the deeds of our fathers, which were like our deeds. Now, notice, our fathers did things like our deeds today. It caused them, Velanu, and us, Otsan Hatzar, those troubles. Remembering these things will remember to come back. It's not just their problem, it's our problem. Imagine, the Beis Hamikdash is destroyed. Titus comes, he puts a fire to it, he brings in his own into the Beis Hamikdash. The Romans are coming. That's horrible. Do we think of ourselves that we had a part in that? We had a part in that. Chazal saying, we did it with our bechira. It's not just an external thing. It's something which is happening as a kayak from our own choices. The choice is to use this world one way or to use this world another way. To use this world as a means of serving a Kadosh Baruch Hu, or God forbid to use it the opposite. And that's it. We can choose life, and we can choose bracha, or God forbid, we can choose death. And we can choose klala. We can choose klala. The fact that Beis Hamikdash is not there is a national tragedy, but it's a tragedy for all of us. I'm sorry to say, we contributed. We didn't build it. We could have built it. If Chazal say it's our problem, it means we could have done it. If Chazal say it's our problem, that means we could have done it. It's a function of our bechira. We don't like to look at it that way, but that's what Chazal say. And the truth is like this, that the whole concept of chet and mitzvahs and avelos is all one thing. The Rabbi Rucham says that the reason why we sit avelos on somebody is because of chatoim. When being mis'aba on the chet. I've told you in previous years, Rav Volvi said over in Shmuz, he was his Talmud, that the Ramban says in Shar Gemul, that the reason we cry at a Levaya is not only because of the person that's gone, it's we cry because we understand that Misa is not a natural thing. We're not really meant to die. The only reason that there's Misa in the world, the reason that there has to be an interruption, the reason why we can't live forever is because there's sin. Sin causes death. Lo arud memis ela chet memis. The arud, that arud that was going around killing people. Lo aros memis. Chanim Mendoza said the aros doesn't kill. Arud doesn't kill. Sin kills. The reason why we're crying, the reason why we sit on the floor, the avelis is on sin, on chatayim, on our choices. So the difference. There's very big similarity. We see this rabbinically, Chazal put Tisha B'Av like Yom Kippurim. So this is avelis. We sat on the floor. We have ashes on our food. It's avelis. But it's avelis. Avelis looks at the sin, looks at the churban, it looks at the heres, looks at the destruction the sin can cause. Avodat, this is a means of coming to do tshuva, but we have to unfortunately look. We have to look square in the eye. We have to look at it square in the eye. Look what we've done. You have to look at the negative. The Vilna Gaon says, the Gemara says, the ultimate tachacha, the ultimate rebuke in this world is the Yom HaMisa. Looking at Ra, what it causes, that's the ultimate tochacha. That's the way that we can ultimately appreciate life. You can't appreciate life if you think it's one big merry-go-round. You know, the news today, Rabbi Gottlieb was talking about the news, how it has so many things which are really useless. But, you know, the one thing I know, they have, you know, there's always amusement parks, things tend to go wrong. That's the Havlei Olam. People want to go on a big amusement park. They want to live in Disney World. The world is ha, 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 he, he. And then, God forbid, something happens. We don't wish those things to happen. But it sort of kills the party. There's no more party, people. There's real life. There's real life. There's a life to be led. Rahman's line, a person dies, you say, hey, something's going on here that you have to live up to our Kadosh Baruch Hu's expectations. What's the purpose of life? Why am I here? And on Tisha B'Av, we wake up. It hasn't been always, our history has been filled with tsar. Our history has been filled with pain. We're here after 2,000 years of Golos. It was only 70, 75 years ago where Jews were being bought, their blood was being poured in the streets. You know, it's easy to forget. You know, you think everything's great. You got the Makolet down the street. You got, you know, Yaakov, Ben Yaakov over there. My boys like Ben Yaakov, Chevra. You know, you go to Ben Yaakov, you can have your falafel, you know, you get on a bus, go to the coast. Life is good. What's so bad? You got a basketball court around the court. What's so bad? Tisha B'Av, you have to say, hey, you have to look at the Avelis right arm. You have to look at the Heres. You have to look at what sin, national sin, has caused. That the Beis HaMikdash is not there because they made a mistake, and Mamela Kodesh Baruch Hu sent the Babylonians, and he sent the Romans against us, and unfortunately we continue mistakes, the similar mistakes, because it's all chet. Chet, sin, is what is the source of the Avelis. With this thought, I just thought maybe perhaps we can understand something which is very bothersome. God forbid you go into someone's house who's an oval, who's sitting shiva. So when you leave, you say, may God comfort you among the rest of the mourners of Zion and Yerushalayim. And the mourning of Zion and Yerushalayim, by the way, we're going to say in our prayer this afternoon, a special prayer of Nachem is, there's Aveli Tzion, there's Aveli Yerushalayim. So you go to visit somebody who's sitting shiva, you're leaving, you say, you know, may God comfort you among all the others. Sharm, he's the others. You don't just say and, you say Shar, the others, meaning he's also mourning Tzion Yerushalayim. Markeshi is sitting, Rahman Islam, we shouldn't know, Lo Aleinu, somebody passed away. He's mourning a person who passed away. The Pele Yoetz puts Avelis, he first talks about the Beis HaMikdash, and the second paragraph he talks about the Avelis for Yochid. Well, what's going on here? There might be a lot of understandings of this, but one thing is the common denominator is that all comes from one thing. Avelis really comes from sin. There's national sin. There's the national sin which caused the departure of his Cena, and his private sin, Rahman al-San, who causes death. The two, everything, it's all one, it's all Zeh Keneged Zeh. So, we know that if we're really going to take anything out of Tisha B'Av, we have to reflect a little bit on what Chazal said. There are famous Chazalim which I want to review with you, and perhaps we can just gain, you know, we have to Chazal these things in Tisha B'Av, review what the rabbis told us. We know that first Beis HaMikdash was destroyed on the Gimel of Eretz Chamuros, and the second one was destroyed because of Cena. Which Chazal, just before we go further, Chazal say that Cena's Chinam is Keneged Kulam. You know, if somebody, God forbid, you go on the street and someone's killing somebody, that's pretty horrible. Cena's Chinam is worse than Avodah Zarah, Gili Arayis, and Shvichas Damim. I don't think we realize that. So you say, well, they're both equal because this caused the destruction of the temple, this caused the destruction of the temple. That's true. The Chazal say it's Keneged Kulam. We don't appreciate how serious an issue this must be. Because it's so. It's not. You know, you can't put your finger on it sometimes. Let's just review the famous Chazal. The Gemara says, I'm Rabbi Yochanan. Amai Charv Yerushalayim, Charv Yerushalayim on Kamsa Bar Kamsa. There's a story of Kamsa Bar Kamsa. I just want to review part of it to see, make a point. It says like this. The Hidabroot, the Rockmill, the Kamsa, Ubal Devave Bar Kamsa. There was a fellow, his name, we don't know his name. He had a friend. His friend's name was Kamsa, and his enemy's name was Bar Kamsa. Avad Sudasa. He made a Suda. We don't know what the Suda was for. He made some sort of a party, celebration. Amar Shama, he told his servant, Zil Isili Kamsa. So he told his servant, go bring me my friend Kamsa. Azal Isile Bar Kamsa. Like the Israeli post, they went to the wrong person. They went to Bar Kamsa. It went to Bar Kamsa. Bar Kamsa was the enemy of this individual. Asa. So Bar Kamsa comes. Now, right away, there's a problem here. They both know they hate one another. So you're getting an invitation to some sort of get-together from your worst enemy. Why is he going? What's going on here? So the Marsha says a beautiful thing. The Marsha says, remember his name is Bar Kamsa. He learns that Bar Kamsa was the son of Kamsa, and that the man who's unnamed was trying to make peace. Just like he loved his father. So now he wants to make peace with the son, Bar Kamsa. So he's sending him an invitation. And he quotes Chazal. Chazal says like this, Amar Reb Chanina, Kol HaMispata B'yeno Yeshbo Midas Kono. Anybody who is appeased with his wine, he has the attribute of his creator. Sinama v'yarach es reach hanichach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu smelled the sweet fragrance of the korban of Noach. So it says the Marshal like this. He learns Pshat. A person's mispata b'yeno. B'yen means his wine. If you want to make peace with your friend and you're prepared to send an invitation to your friend, to your enemy, to come to your house to share with you wine, that's das kono. Because the Kadosh Baruch Hu accepts the korban. Everything is his, and yet he accepted the korban from Noach, and he accepted it. It was his. It was his wine, his world, and yet he accepted it. So if you use your wine, as it were, to make peace with your friend, you have das kono. So he learns like this, that the man who came, Bar Kamsa, he thought, that the man who's inviting him is all of a sudden got, Hirurim of making peace. He's got das kono. So he comes. Unfortunately, he was mistaken. Okay? So what happens? So he comes, Ashkei Lahavi Yasib. So now, the man who invited, again, the unknown man, Amalei Michti, Hahu Gavra Bal Devava. So he spoke in third person. This guy is an enemy of the person who's making the party. The Hahu Gavra. My boy, Sacha, what are you doing here? Kum Puk. Get up and leave. So, unfortunately, the person making the Suda was not interested in Das Kono, and it was a mistake, and he now wants his enemy, it's a known enemy, to leave. Amalei Hoav Asoy Shafkan. So at this point, it was very embarrassing, assumedly, to have to go up and leave in the middle of the Suda. So he says, I'll pay for everything I've eaten and drinking. I'm not interested in your money. I'll give you half of the value of the Suda. And you got a picture, you can imagine a wedding, I'll give you half the wedding. I'll pay for the entire Suda. He didn't want to leave at this point. I'll pay for the entire Suda. He said, no. Nakte biyade, he got him up, but he took him out. Now, so that must have been a very, very sad thing. I was once at a wedding and I saw something like this. It's a very horrible situation to have to see somebody kicked out of a Suda. So he says, Omer v'ho v'havi z'yasver abana lo machabe. So now, there happened to be a lot of rabbis at this Suda. We don't know what kind of Suda it was. There's a lot of chashuva people there. Shma min ha'kanichlahu. Azav ve'achalahu. At that point, we have the beginning. He starts to be malshin on the Jews. He sends a message to the to the Romans that they don't want their korbanos, and then there's a mishtalshel, a whole sipur over here, which ultimately leads to the ultimate destruction of Yerushalayim and the Beis Hamikdash. So the beginning of the sipur was an issue of sinas chinam, says the Mashar. It was sinas chinam. Then afterwards it led to a halshan, he was malshin to the Romans. It comes out from this sipur, there are no heroes in this sipur. There's no victim. On surface, you think, well, maybe the guy got kicked out of his suda. He's the victim. I mean, it wasn't very nice. He got embarrassed. He got kicked out of his suda. He came. He thought he was invited. He made a mistake. That's true. But you don't have to go and destroy the entire Jewish people and be malshin to the Romans and make up a whole story about a korban. I'd say he's not a tzaddik. I'm sorry, he was not a tzaddik. Bar Kamsa does not come out clean. The Rabbanan, says the Mashar, why didn't they say something? So either they were over on Chanufa. Chanufa means they were playing up to a Russia. The person who was invited was a Russia. They were playing up to him, or they weren't capable, says the Mashal. One of the two. Either way, they don't come out clean either, because this was obviously something they could have maybe mellowed the situation. And obviously the man who makes the party, doesn't have das kono, he doesn't have the das of his creator to try to make peace. And in fact, instead of realizing that the person he invited came by mistake, and maybe he should overlook it, he kicked him out because he embarrassed him in public. So he's not a tzaddik either. The Maral asks a question though, what about Kamsa? The Gemara says that Nechrefa Yerushalayim Ma'asav Kamsa v'Bar Kamsa. Now, what happened, Kamsa doesn't appear in this story. Kamsa was the one that was meant to get the invitation and didn't get it. So he never appeared in the story. So what did he do wrong? What did he do wrong, says the Maral? He says a very important thing. He says Kamsa was a friend of the man who made the Suda. But he says Kamsa's Lashon Chelik, it represents purity. He wasn't really his friend. All the friendships that were there were us and them. Yes, Kamsa was his friend. He was his friend because he was connected the other side. There's party A and there's party B. There's my group and there's the other group. There's my shul and the other shul. There's my side of the street and the other side of the street. They're the good guys and the bad guys. Kamsa and Bar Kamsa represents the idea that even when they were friendly over there, the friendship wasn't based on true ahava, the friendship was based on pirud. The Meforshim, they still suit to the Gemara says that Canaan gave a tzivui to his children. It says, the Rashi says in the Gemara, in Pesachim gave a tzivui to his children. It means they used to be noeg. He says, you should steal from everybody and love one another. You should love one another. How can you be a thief and love one another? It says it's the ava of the bandits, the ava of a group of thieves. Avada, they have ava for one another, but it's not real ava. It's ava which is based on self-interest. They have a purpose together, yeah, we love each other. Close mom, we can work together to do something wrong. But there's no real ava. Kamsa v'Bar Kamsa, even the people who were his friends weren't really his friends. It was, we don't want to be part of that group. And I think when it comes to the idea of sinas chinam and the idea of machlekes, we tend sometimes to say it's Yenim. It's the other group. It's their problem. They're the ones that are causing the problem. It's always them. It's always them. Maybe it's us. Because we're the them of another group. Now, the Gemara over here says that, famous point, that the world was destroyed, that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed on the sin of sinas chinam. So, I want to just define a little bit what it means sinas chinam. First of all, it would seem that there is such a thing as sina, which is not b'chinam. It says, lo sina achecha, you shouldn't hate your brother in your heart. So, the Gemara in Pesachim is mashma that if a person does an avera, a rayas, and he doesn't do tshuva, you can hate him. So there's such a thing as dislike for somebody based on averas. I must share with you that that's the only type of hatred which could be justified. I must share with you the words of the Pele Yoetz. The Pele Yoetz is unbelievable. It's good to read it inside. I'm going to read it inside and share with you his words. He's speaking to us. He says, Yesh shibos shalem yisor asina, ben ish la'achiv. There are a lot of reasons why people dislike one another. V'akol hevel v'roos ruach. The whole thing is what we call in plain simple English, shtiyot. Nonsense. Yesh shona machmas shekinegdo chata kinegdo. Why do we hate somebody? Well, this person did me bad. He did something bad to me. Or b'mamono, he hurt me with my money. Or b'kvodo, he hurt my kavod. He didn't get out of the way. He didn't invite me to the party. If that's the reason you dislike somebody, lo tachim lo tito. Torah says you can't take revenge. Pirish atam ki adam hu muchrak b'masa v'shlichus rachmana avid ki Hashem amolo kilel v'roa mazlo garam lo shi gagaleno choy v'ayedei chayev. Why did this happen to you? It didn't happen because that guy wanted to do it to you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted it to happen, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu made mizmegagel chayev ayedei chayev. And Achanami, he's not a good person. But why did you lose your money? Why did you lose your kavod? HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent this person to do it to you. So there's no reason to hate him. He's not really the cause. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is your mazel. Or for some reason HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted this to happen to you. The second cause of Cena is hatred. A person can think, because of that other guy, I lost my parnasa, or he's got more than me. This is from a lack of faith. In other words, if you don't have faith, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving you parnasa, that everything you have, nobody can touch anything that's becoming to somebody else. The Vilna Gaon points out that all of Cena's chinam, everything starts with but lo sachmod. Lo sachmod is don't desire, don't covet that which your neighbor has. This kina for the other person's things all stems from a lack of bitachon, a lack of faith in Amun and the Kodesh Baruch. And he says the third one is, listen to this, but derech, the next thing is that is v'yesh shona machmashoros chaver she'eno holech b'derech tova. Let's say you see somebody's not doing the right things, so you dislike him for it. So the kid, he says, you got to find a guy to have schus, and it's not so easy to come to that madrega that a person is really worthy of that type of behavior. And he says like this: you want to dislike people that are not doing the right thing, well, maybe you should hate yourself. This is what he says. What does that mean? We're not perfect. So if you have a dislike for people who are not living up to their potential, look rather than looking outside, look inside. Now, and that was in one section. He says over here, I just want to read one other thing. It says like this. This is a Pele Yoetz. A person should put it to his heart. Is you should not hate your friend in your heart. Now listen to this. You don't have, the Torah doesn't have to tell you to like someone who does good for you and not to dislike him. You don't have no tainas on him. Because why should you ever dislike such a person and hate him? No, it's the guy who's doing good for you, the one who's giving you, the one who's helping you, your friend that the Torah didn't have to address you and tell you, don't hate him, love him. He's your friend. Your enemy, the person who's coming out against you. And he says how difficult that is. Sinas chinam, all the things that we dislike people for, that's called sinas chinam. We have no head to be son of another person. It's true. People hurt us. So it says, if a person hurts you, there's a way of solving that. But to hate him for it, to take revenge is also. You have to realize everything is from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Your parnas is from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if there is dafka, somebody who you dislike because of the way he's behaving, maybe we should look inside before we look outside. So, I think these are very strong words, and that's what it means, Cena's Chinam. Cena's Chinam means all the things we think justify hate, don't justify. And that's worse than the Gimel of Eretz Kamoros. It's equal to the Gimel of Eretz Kamoros. You know, sometimes you hate somebody because you don't like their nose. I guess Kal Shekain, that's not good either, right? You know, a guy walks in the base measures, you know, something about his looks you don't like. I don't think that's Mustama, that's not justified either, right? Mustama. That's called irrational hatred, which we have for this. He doesn't dress like me, he doesn't act like me, he's this. Yen. Now, there's one other thing I'd like to discuss, which I think any thinking Jew has noticed, and that is that just as we entered the 3 weeks, all of a sudden, we started having issues with the Harbais. So, you know, this whole thing with the metal detectors, you know, I mean, frankly, the Derech HaTeva of this thing is so absurd and so counterintuitive, it doesn't make too much sense, but things are not meant to make so much sense. You know, you know, all we want to, you know, people get killed up there, so we want to try to protect the place, and then, no, that's not allowed. And they just go, no, you can't do that. But what he was to bring up, you know, everyone's talking about who's the Bailim? Who's got Shlita on the higher bias? Who's it belong to? And that's what the key of the fight. He said, theirs or ours. So, number one, we don't need to put up metal detectors or this or that to have Shlita on the higher bias. We know, we've been crying, we're crying today. We're sitting on the floor today. We're speaking today. Every year we go through our Tisha B'Av. The Meforshim say the reason why we're misabel on Yerushalayim is because it's low mace. If something be dead, we wouldn't be misabel on it. The fact that the base of Mikdash is chai v'kayim within our hearts, deep in our hearts, and it's going to be restored. That's why we're crying. We don't need our officers up there to prove anything. No one's going to prove anything by who can put up a metal detector. That is just not the point. Now that may be the politics, but that is not really relevant to us, to people sitting here, to people listening. We don't need, you know, I saw they made an archaeological dig recently out there, and they found, you know, some sort of proof or excavation that showed, you know, how the Babylonians destroyed Yerushalayim, etc., and how big it was before it happened. You know, wow. You know, now we know what we were here. People that go around denying history, you know, just because the world believes in Sheker for its own purposes doesn't, you know, we know the truth. We've been living the truth. There's nothing to, this is something which is the facts. We know we were here twice. The fact that there's even a discussion about that, it's called people deny history. It's just, it's the ultimate Sheker. It's the Olam HaChoshek, Olam HaShikra, Olam HaShikra. It's meaningless. But the fact is that it's become, you know, a big issue and everyone's getting excited. So there's two things. One cannot help but notice that this came on the tail of a machlekes that people are having about the nature of the tefillah at the Harbais. And that, you know, there's groups within Klal Yisrael that feel that they need to have a place there and they want to daven differently, representing reform, etc. And the whole issue of they can, they can't, where, what, how, it's a very big political hot potato today. They took Yerushalayim out of their prayer book. What exactly they want down there is not clear. So, you know, what is the kosel? What does it really mean to us? What are we using it for? Does the kosel and everything that the base of Mikdash, is it for real? Was it just some sort of historical landmark? For the government, is it, you know, it's nice that there are people that keep the Torah, what about them? Now, all these issues sort of came out, you know, and as our own problems within ourselves came to the bear, so then Yishmael popped up his head. So there were no coincidences. But I think that although I think what he just said is true, we have to go a little deeper. We know what it says that if we see that there's an issue about Har Bias, it's about the Cena we just discussed, blaming things on others. There are others that are the reason it's their problem. But we cannot ignore the ultimate issue that right now we're in a conflict between ourselves and Yishmael. Remember that Yishmael has the right, the ability to impede our coming back to Eretz Yisrael because he did the Bris Milah. So the koyach of Yishmael is standing against us. And Rabbi Yitzchak says, there's Anochi Hashem Elokecha V'lo Yelecha. Anochi represents Avas Hashem, love of God. When we love God, when we love a Kodesh Baruch Hu, we love a Kodesh Baruch Hu, that's the koyach against Yishmael, against the koyach of Taiva. The way to break Taiva, the koyach of Taiva is Yishmael. Yishmael is Chamor, Amadoma LeChamor. We went to the Akedah, he was the Chamor. He said, you stay here with the Chamor, he's the donkey. He's the koyach of Taiva. The way to break that was with Avas Hashem, loving a Kodesh Baruch Hu. The way the Rambam says that one comes to the love of a Kodesh Baruch Hu is through Avas, is through learning Torah and Avas Torah. The koyach against Yishmael is Torah. That's the pshat when it says that Yaakov Avinu, when he came to Esav, and Esav was coming against him, Yeshli Shor v'Chamor. I have a shore, which was Yosef, the Chamor, Cena Meforshim is Chamor Gorim was Yisachar. Because at that point, Yishmael, Esav had married already Bas Yishmael, so he was coming with two koyachas. He wasn't just coming with the koyach of Esav, he was coming with the koyach of Yishmael. So for the koyach of Esav, I Yeshli Shor, I have Yosef. We're not going to discuss that now, but the ability to destroy Yishmael, you married into Yishmael, Yeshli Chamor. Yeshli Shor v'Chamor, Yeshli Chamor Gorim, that's Yisachar. Yisachar are the ones that are Amalei Torah. Those are the ones that are ultimately going to destroy Yishmael. The ability to fight against Yishmael is the Torah Kedosha. A Kol Yaakov Adayim Esav was said by Esav. The koyach of Tefillah is our ability, our peh, Keneged Esav, but the peh of Torah is Keneged Yishmael. Yishmael also davens 5 times a day. However, for those of you who don't get it for Shacharis, they go 5 times a day. 5 times a day. They also daven, but they don't have Torah. We have the Torah Kadosh. But you have to remember over here the famous words of Chazal. That's not just, of course we have to learn the Torah, but Chukasei Teileichu, that's the koyach to bring bracha into our lives and not have klalas and not to have Yishmael. Listen to the Lashon Yishalmi. Elishayu ovim es mamon. They love money. V'sonim elu es einu sinas chen. They love money. We couldn't say such a thing. Couldn't say such a thing. They love money, and they learn Torah, and they dislike one another. Well, it's not hard for us to understand, based on what we said before, how the love of money can create sinas chen. But the Rivaran here quotes a Chovos Levavos I must share with you. He says like this: to the extent that Lo Baruch Hu B'Torah Techila, they didn't have a Korah that the Torah is really everything, and there's nothing really other than it. So that's why they had Chendas HaMamon. A person has Chendas HaMamon is interested in money, and that meter causes Sinas Chinam. Now listen to these words. The Chovos Levavos says like this: Kishem Shelo Yiskinu Eish v'Mayim biyachad. You cannot have fire and water together. Kain lo yitachen b'leiv hamamin. You cannot have in the heart of the one who believes avas Hashem v'avas ha'olam. If you love Hashem and love this world, the two don't go together. If you love this world, that means, like we said in the beginning, if your whole idea is to use this world not as a kli, as a means of avodas Hashem, but you want that olive base for itself, you're going after olam hazeh for itself, it's chemdes hamamon, kol tuv sel, I want all that's good. If that's what you want, then you can't have avas Torah, avas olam, and avas Hashem at the same time. You can't have both ways. You can't have a love of this Welt and a love of a Kodesh Baruch. V'cheinu b'nagei la'avas Torah. Lo yitach, this is the Aaron speaking. Lo yitach in avas Torah v'avas olam. V'midah sheyesh v'avas olam kein chas b'avas Torah. A person, to the extent that we love this Welt, we're missing in love for a Torah. right? Mi shekaraso hazaka biyakar Torah. Anyone who has a proper understanding of the beauty of the Torah and its significance. Hare calling on olam hem beinav ke'ein ve'efes. They're just kalim. They're just means of achieving something. We can't have it both ways. We live in a world of shefa. We learn to live in a world of abundance. We're no longer facing the aniyas our grandparents and great-grandparents felt. Today, people have, even those who are aniyim have, to a certain extent. People have. But if that's avas olam, if you love this Welt, you can't love it. You can't love Hashem, and says Rabbi, and you can't love the Torah. It's a keli, it's a kli. This is a fine distinction. You can have this Welt, you can enjoy it as a kli to serve a Kadosh Baruch Hu. If that's why you love it, it's all called Tuvsela. Rabbi Victor Miller had his Seder with the apple. 20 minutes he looked at the apple before he made a bracha on it. He used that apple, that joy of the birchas and the henin, to connect with the Rabbanu Shalom. Avada, everything we have. Lo kol adam zachal l'shnei shulchanos, says the Gemara in Brachos. Shnei shulchanos means the shulchan of olam hazeh and the shulchan of olam haba. There's such a thing as the shulchan, having shleimus in this world, having everything. But only to the extent that one recognizes that as a vehicle of serving Kadosh Baruch. If not, Rahman Islam, we can learn Torah, we can have good meetings, but we have chemdas a moment that leads to sinas chinam and leads to chorban hamikdash. Be'ez Hashem, a little bit, try to move in the right direction of avas Torah and putting the world in its right perspective.